It's a new day in the workroom, and once again, I'm entering it without a Ru badge on my lapel. But regardless, I'm in high spirits. I mean, obviously I would have liked to win. 3 top 2 placements is crazy. Never in the history of cartoon drag race has that happened. But I did incredibly, I know that, the other queens know that, and the judges know that. So what if I don't have a badge to show for it?
The queens enter, except for Ritska and Josie, who can be heard whispering in the hallway. After some time, Josie pushes Ritska into the doorway. He catwalks into the room, before striking a pose, and loudly announcing he is officially the cuntacular boom boom boy of the Philippines, before jumping into a dip. Josie runs in, screaming in excitement, and cheering for Ritska. The queens laugh.
I practiced that entrance with Ritska. Made him get up at 5 a.m., dragged him out of his hotel room into the freezing cold empty set, and practiced all morning. And it was all worth it. I'm so proud. We've really grown close these past few weeks, and I just knew there was a divalicious boom boom doll in there somewhere. I mean, we already knew he had the signature body chai a la mode Ina. Have you seen that body? I know they're in an open relationship, but let's just say that if I were a man, and I were with that body, you couldn't convince me to hook up with anyone else.
I thought I'd feel silly making a spectacle like that, but I kinda understand Josie more now, haha. That was fun as hell. That being said, I think the hours of practice were a bit unnecessary. I hate getting up that early. But don't worry, I got a nap in before filming started. This isn't another Pikachu situation, thank God.
Oswald says that Josie is full of joy for someone who sent her best friend home last week. Josie sighs, and says that she is still hurting from doing that, but that she can't just let it take her over, adding that stress dries your skin out. Oswald laughs, and says he gets it. Flower says yes, they can tell that he understands having dry skin. Oswald just rolls his eyes.
Ever since Snatch Game, when I won as Mickey Mouse, and I really pushed that pain out of my mind, I've felt so much lighter. There's a lot of stress in this competition, but I'm still so thankful that being here helped me push through that whole part of my life and put it behind me. I think I've earned that pride.
Ritska asks the other queens what challenge they hope is coming next. Kaito says he'd like another dance challenge, and Josie and Flower agree, with Flower commenting that it had definitely helped trim the fat from the cast, glancing at Oswald and Skull Kid. Skull Kid just laughs, before saying that he wants a design challenge. Mimi blinks, and says she didn't even realize that there hasn't been a design challenge or a ball this season. Oswald smiles, and says no wonder a mannequin made it this far into the season, looking to Flower. Flower scoffs, and says that now the only question left to answer is how a brick made it into the casting pool to begin with.
I'll have that ugly bitch know that I made a lot of my looks this season. I'm no Edna mode, but I'm certainly a seamstress. I'm also no Edna mode because when I get my crown this season, it'll be deserved.
Mimi says she'd like some sort of makeover challenge, since they'd usually happen around this time, and she thinks she can get another win. Skull Kid says she definitely needs another win with how she's been doing lately. Mimi just pauses and looks at him, disgusted.
Is he kidding? What does he mean about how I've been performing lately? Yeah, I landed in the bottom, but I slayed both of my lip syncs. Skull Kid, not so much. Not to be too shady, but mama, that lip sync against Ritska must have been pretty embarrassing. Oh well, if he wants to get cute, I'll just have to stay drop dead gorgeous.
Mimi eventually sighs, and says yeah, thank God she was able to slay that lip sync last week. It must be hard for Skull Kid knowing that when he lands in the bottom, he'll have no such luck. Skull Kid face cracks, and Flower snaps approvingly as the other queens laugh. Suddenly, the Ru mail alarm rings.
I stand by what I said about Mimi coasting on her early performances, but I'm afraid she did gag me a bit. As bored as I am of her and Flower's drag by now, Mimi is objectively speaking a major threat. Hopefully she isn't a threat that'll last much longer.
Hello my loves, and congratulations on making top 6. That's a major accomplishment. Your egos should be high right now, but perhaps it's time to bring them down a bit. I think it's past time for the reading challenge. Oh, this should be fun. I think I'm safe. I mean, what could one of these bottoms even read me on? My face is sitting, my body is a rich cup of body chai, my personality is a 10. And let's not forget, I have more wins than any of them. I just got my 8th win this morning, shared with my boom boom boy Ritska. for our stunning entrance that put these queens to shame. Nobody can read me, but baby, I can read them.
Josie's reads were terrible. I suppose her 9th win won't be the reading challenge. But Skull Kid, Jesus Christ. Some of those were personal.
Skull Kid won the mini challenge.
I mean, yeah, obviously. Nobody in cartoon drag race history can read like I can. Except for maybe Lola, or Sissy Delmas. Ha, I'm sure that what Lola loves more than anything is a comparison to Sissy Delmas. Well, get over it, fish. A spooky queen has topped you in the reading challenge. This is the first time in recent memory you've been topped by someone other than Peter Griffin.
Skull Kid, that was vicious. And I believe you're due a prize. So you'll get to choose the performance order for this week's roast challenge. The roast of Candace Flynn.
This day just keeps getting better. A roast? There's no way for me to be better set up for a 3rd win than this. If there's one thing I can do at this point, it's find a myriad of insults for these queens and the judges.
And tonight on the runway, category is High School Musical. Now, good luck, and don't fuck it up.
The queens gather for Skull Kid to assign the order of the roast. Skull Kid clears his throat and says that he'll be going first, and asks Oswald where he wants to be. Oswald says he'd like to close out the roast and go last. Flower says what a surprise, they want the most notable spots in the lineup, they must need an advantage. Oswald asks why exactly they wouldn't want to give themselves the best chance. Flower says no, it makes sense, they must know that if not for Josie giving Pikachu the old Yeller treatment, they deserved to go home last week while she was in the top. Oswald frowns.
Just because you did exceptionally well in one particular challenge, all of a sudden you're sitting pretty beside Kagamine Rin on the panel? Girl, you didn't even win. You can't waltz in here like RuPaul herself and talk about who should have gone home. I'm safe. We're safe. Get back in line with the rest of us, contestant number 12. With that twisted up wig on your head, I can't with her.
Skull Kid tells Oswald to just ignore her, don't let her get into your head. Flower shrugs and says she gets it. Oswald has branded himself as this amazing comedy queen, but he wasn't even in the top for the last comedy challenge, so he must need a leg up. After all, if he isn't good at comedy, and he isn't good on the runway, what exactly is he good at? Oswald chokes, and just looks down a bit. Skull Kid is clearly about to go off, but Oswald immediately shouts at him to drop it, and says that he would like to go second in the order. Skull Kid looks concerned, but just sighs, and writes it down.
It's just that easy. You think I don't know that they're my biggest competition in this challenge? I don't think those two are good drag queens, but they can be funny on occasion. I can admit that. What I've just done is stack them up, so that they weaken each other's performances, and now Oswald is in his head, so he won't perform as well as usual. Imagine how embarrassing it's gonna be to go home in a comedy challenge. Get lost, you ugly rabbit.
I'm disappointed that Oswald gave in like that, but I'm gonna respect his wishes. Why? Well, because I know Oswald well enough to know that he seems like a sweetheart, and he is, but that motherfucker is fueled by spite. If someone comes for him, he's gonna push himself to his upper limits to prove them wrong. Flower's trying to weaken Oswald, but if past challenges have anything to say, she's just made things even worse for herself. You've got this, buddy.
Skull Kid smirks, and says Flower will go after Oswald. Flower rolls her eyes, and says who could have seen that coming. Mimi, looking upset, speaks up and tells Flower to stop acting like that. Flower's expression turns, and she just looks at Mimi, before quietly apologizing. Skull Kid looks shocked for a moment, but then asks Mimi where she wants to go. Mimi says she'd like to go second to last. Skull Kid writes that down, and then sighs, looking between Josie, Ritska, and Kaito. He bluntly says he doesn't really see any of them as funny enough for it to matter, so they can decide between themselves who goes where, before leaving the table with Oswald. Kaito looks bothered, and promptly says he wants to go last, closing out the roast. Josie and Ritska ask if he's sure, and Kaito nods, saying he needs to make a statement.
Skull Kid is underestimating me. I'm sure a lot of the girls here are, because I'm the only queen left with no wins. It makes sense. 3 top 2s is impressive in its own way, but they just aren't wins, no matter what Christy Montiero tells you. I've been pushing to make a statement, and this is a perfect time. If I slay, I'll be set up to finally get my win. If I flop, well, let's not think about that, okay?
Josie asks Ritska if he's okay with going before Mimi, and she'd go before him. Ritska says that sounds fine to him, since the places in the middle are basically the same anyway. Mimi smirks, and asks if he's sure that he wants to go right before her. Ritska says it's definitely nerve-wracking, but he's committed, and Mimi smiles at him, saying she appreciates the confidence, and asks if he and Josie want to work with her and Flower today. Ritska thanks her, but says that he can't spend more time around Flower right now, before leaving with Josie and Kaito. Flower starts to say something, but just stops, looking down a bit.
I don't like seeing Flower upset like that, but I can't blame Ritska, and at the end of the day it's because of her own actions. I feel badly for her, but all I can do is try to encourage her to do better. It didn't work last time, but I'm not giving up on her yet. She's my daughter, and my family means everything to me. Flower, if it's the last thing I do, I'll help you become a better person.
Skull Kid and Oswald are at their station together, working on their sets and chatting. Oswald says that he's been thinking a lot lately about his relationship with Mickey, and what'll happen when filming is over, since all of the drama between them will be in the public eye. Skull Kid laughs, and says that he needs to leave that rotted drag queen in the past, because he deserves better. Oswald smiles, and says Skull Kid is probably right.
It's hard to so suddenly put Mickey behind me. I have so much resentment towards him. I've spent so much of my career trying to prove that he made a mistake by abandoning me, and that I'm a strong queen after all. But Mickey was my brother. We were attached at the hip. I can't just forget all about that, and I've realized recently that I don't even think I hate him. I'm so bitter towards him, I never want to see him again. At least, I don't think I do. It's all so confusing, but now isn't the time to be working through it. I have a challenge to win. Maybe the 5 million pesos grand prize can buy a therapy session or two, but until then, I have to focus. Skull Kid is right, I need to put Messy Mouse behind me.
Skull Kid says honestly, he doesn't fully understand what Oswald finds hard about the whole situation, because it should be easy to leave someone behind that doesn't treat you well. He laughs, and says what's next, dreaming about a friendship with Flower. Oswald chuckles, and says that it's harder when it's your family, and asks how Skull Kid would feel if he suddenly had to toss out his family. Skull Kid kicks his legs onto the table, still writing his set, and says he doesn't have a family. Oswald looks shocked, and says really, you don't have a drag family? Skull Kid says he doesn't have family period, and then smiles at Oswald, and says except for him, before getting back to his writing.
No family? I don't know what I would have done without Mickey. It's complicated now, but it's because of him that I started drag. We did it together, and we helped each other. Has Skull Kid really been doing all of this alone for so long? I'm really glad that he has me now. We can help each other.
I'm not sure why Oswald is so surprised. I'm not looking for pity, I'm happy I haven't had a family before now. I mean, Oswald had one. He had Mickey, and look how that went. Look at Mimi and Flower, they're dysfunctional. Look at Elise, she spent her whole time here in her sister's shadow. I'm doing drag for myself, not for some collective. I know that seems contradictory now that I'm close with Oswald, but that's different. It's easy with him, I feel calmer. He's important to me, and that's why I'm so adamant that he drops the Mickey stuff. It just makes him feel worse about himself, and I want to protect him from that.
Mimi and Flower sit at a station together writing their sets for the roast. Mimi is nonchalantly making notes and writing jokes, when she looks to Flower, and realizes that she has stopped writing and is just staring at her paper. Mimi tries to ask her what's wrong, but Flower just stays quiet, and after Mimi asks again, she starts crying. Mimi is shocked, and quickly puts her pencil down, before turning Flower to face her and asking her to tell her what's wrong. Flower, wiping her eyes, says through tears that it's starting to hit her that everyone here really hates her. Mimi pauses, and says you didn't realize that before? That's exactly why she's been trying to get Flower to act better. Flower sighs, and says she knew it, but she never really processed it, because that's how it is at home too, so she was used to it. Mimi asks Flower why she keeps acting like she does if she's this upset about being disliked, and Flower says that she's already told Mimi that she doesn't know why, it's just how she's always been. Mimi rolls her eyes, and says seriously, that's her answer? Flower gets upset, and says that she doesn't know, it's just how she acts. Mimi, clearly frustrated, says that isn't a good enough reason to mistreat people like that. Flower screams that she knows that, but what is she supposed to do about it? Mimi slams her hand on the table, and screams that she needs to act like she has some fucking sense, and stop talking down to people like they're beneath her. Flower just goes quiet again, turning away from Mimi.
I don't know how to get through to Flower. She has so much talent, and she's so young. I don't want her to waste all of this potential, and she deserves to have people in her life who appreciate her, which is why I just can't give up on her. She's my family now, but I don't know how to make her understand that the way she treats people matters, and I can't understand how she doesn't even know why she does it.
Flower sighs, and angrily asks Mimi if she thinks she likes being a bitch that nobody likes. Or that if she thought she could help it, she would still act that way. Mimi says that's bullshit, the way Flower acts is her own decision, it isn't beyond her control. Flower turns back to her, angry, and says that it's really easy to say that when you're Mimi fucking Tachikawa, the practiced pageant queen, always in control, always loved. She then starts crying again, angrily shouting that it isn't fair that it's so fucking easy for Mimi to act that way, but no matter how hard she tries, she always fails to be like her. Mimi says that Flower shouldn't be trying to be like her, she should just be trying to be better, and asks why she's always comparing herself. Flower says she has no idea what Mimi is talking about, turning away again.
What is Mimi even saying? She's asking all these questions. I don't have any of the answers. What does she mean? Why do I act like this? It's just how I act, nothing else works. I've tried to do things differently. I try to do everything she says, and I always just end up back where I started. What's the point of it all? I'm fine how I am. I'm better than the other queens here except for her, and if I keep my momentum going, I'll be better than her someday too. That's all I need to care about at this point. Because with how I am, it's not like I'll be winning fan favorite. I don't need to win fan favorite. I need to win the crown.
Mimi grabs Flower to turn her to be face to face, and says that all Flower has done since getting here is compare. She compares herself to Mimi, she compares Oswald and Skull Kid to everyone else. She compares everyone else to Mimi. She compares Kaito to the queens with wins. Flower says it's because that matters, they're in a competition. Mimi says that it shouldn't matter, she needs to focus on herself. Flower slams her fist on the table, and says that she is focusing on herself, and what matters to her is where she stands compared to these other queens. Mimi asks why she cares so much, and Flower, still screaming, says that she's spent her entire career being shunned, and she needs to prove that she's better than the people doing that to her. As she says this, Oswald is passing their station, and abruptly stops walking and starts looking at Flower, shocked. After a few seconds, Flower whips her head to him, and shouts for him to mind his own business, before storming off, leaving her notes behind. Oswald stays still for a bit, before going back to his station, and Mimi just sighs and returns to work. Kaito, Josie, and Ritsuka are working together and discussing their plans for the challenge. Josie asks Ritsuka what he is planning to do for his roast. Ritsuka smiles, visibly excited, and says that he actually already finished his set, and is really confident about it, but he wants it to be a surprise. Kaito asks if he's sure, since they could help him tweak anything that might be rough around the edges. Ritsuka says it isn't necessary, this is the best he's felt about a comedy challenge, he's ready to slay it. Josie pats him on the back, and says that confidence is the most key trait of a boom boom doll. Kaito says he thought that was delusion? Josie smirks, and says she thought that a key trait of his drag house was being lip-sync assassins, and yet here he is. Kaito laughs, and says touché, bitch.
I'm not sure what Ritsuka has going on in his strange little head, but I'm putting my trust in him, because his confidence speaks volumes. There are 3 tenets to being a boom boom doll, and Ritsuka is exhibiting them all. Tenet 1. A boom boom doll exudes confidence, cuntiness, and confident cuntiness. Tenet 2. A boom boom doll will constantly serve the sweetest, richest, spiciest body chai this side of Metro Manila. Tenet 3. A boom boom doll will perform the house down boots, slaying the stage in a way only the boomiest of boom boom dolls could. Until now, only I have been a proper boom boom doll. But Ritsuka is in training, and I want to support this iconic showing of Tenet 1. Go, Ritsuka, go.
Kaito says that he's going to use impressions of the judges and other queens as the focus of his roast, to stand out from the other queens. Ritsuka asks if Kaito is even good at impressions. Kaito says he was in the top for Snatch Game, unlike the present company. Ritsuka laughs, and says he got them there, but that the cast has a lot of big personalities, so he's definitely taking a risk here. Kaito says he's aware of that, and he needs to take risks if he wants to win the crown. Josie says damn right, and asks for his impression of her. Kaito stands up, and says in a near-perfect Josie voice that the goddess of the Philippines, Queen of Manila, and the loudest bitch in the room, Josie Rizal, has arrived, before quickly pulling his shirt off and dropping into a dip. Josie screams and starts clapping for Kaito. Ritsuka is doubled over laughing. Kaito blushes a bit, embarrassed, quickly putting his shirt back on.
God damn, I was confident that I would take this one, but Kaito is really big competition evidently. That impression was hilarious, and if he can do that well with his Candace impression, and with the rest of us, we might be fucked. Kaito is underrated in the reading department, he's a really observant guy, so it actually makes sense that he'd be able to impersonate as well. He'll definitely be one to watch this week, but I still think I have a strong shot.
That is the greatest impression I've seen since my iconic Russian accent. Ah, I did so well in that challenge. I can't believe they made me lip sync. Anyway, despite having no wins, Kaito is technically the frontrunner right now by PPE of course. PPE isn't all that matters, but there's something to be said about him being a dark horse in this game. Maybe we need to be scared of him after all, because if he does manage to get the win this week, he'll rocket ahead of all of us. I'm still wishing him luck though. After all, I've been the winner since the start. He won't overtake me, Josie Rizal.
Flower is sitting outside, staring at a blank sheet of paper, still seemingly on the verge of tears. Oswald eventually comes out and sits next to her, before asking her if she's okay, since that argument seemed really rough. Flower scoffs and tells Oswald to mind his own business. Oswald just sighs and says that he's starting to understand how Flower feels a bit more, and that even though she's been a bitch to him, she doesn't deserve to feel abandoned.
I haven't told the queens other than Skull Kid about the Mickey situation. A few queens clocked that we looked somewhat similar at the start, but I dodged the topic, and everyone seems to have forgotten about it. I don't like to talk about it with most people, anyway. But with the conversation I had earlier with Skull Kid, and hearing what Flower said in her argument with Mimi, I couldn't leave her like that, no matter how much I wanted to, haha. Skull Kid doesn't know I'm out here, he might be mad if he did. But I had to do something for her.
Flower whips her head around and begins screaming, asking how exactly he would know how she feels, before loudly telling him to leave her the fuck alone. Oswald doesn't respond, just looking upset, and handing her the notepad that she left at her station, before getting up and leaving. As he shuts the door, he tells Flower that they only have 20 minutes left to prepare. Flower shouts at him to just shut up already, and Oswald shuts the door behind him. After he leaves, Flower flips through her notebook, looking surprised.
Oswald left a lot of notes in here on my jokes, and how I could make them better, and how they could be delivered and stuff, and at the end, he wished me good luck. I'm not sure why he would do all that. It might be fake advice, maybe he's sabotaging me. But I mean, it's not like I have any other material. I took up a lot of my time with that argument. I'm just going to have to quickly finish my writing with what's here, and hope for the best. With some luck, I'll be safe.
Hello my loves, and welcome to Cartoon Drag Race Philippines Season 2. I am one of your beloved hosts, Kagamane Len. Please welcome our beautiful judging panel, the other half of our sickening judging duo, it's Kagamane Rin. Our permanent judge, and my favorite drag queen, it's Candace Flynn. And the arbiter of milk and cookies, the cookie queen of Cartoon Drag Race Season 5 and Cartoon Drag Race All-Stars 4, it's SpongeBob. How do you feel tonight? Well, Kagamane Len, I don't know what Miss Crab Lady is doing, but the bearded hoe is turning it out.
Wait, what? Am I Miss Crab Lady?
Am I the bearded hoe?
Ahem, moving on. SpongeBob, glad to see he hasn't changed. He was my favorite on Cartoon Drag Race All-Stars 4, and he actually won the roast challenge. I'm excited to see that he's judging us this week, his perspective is really unique. I mean, who else is going to do spoken word poetry for a remix? Sure, it got him sent home, but it'll be remembered forever. Anyways, tonight we tasked our queens with absolutely roasting their castmates and judges, with an extra special focus on our beloved resident judge, Candace Flynn. And tonight on the runway, category is High School Musical. Now, without further ado, let's begin.
Kaito slayed the challenge.
I was a complete hit. Closing the show wasn't easy, but I think the judges really appreciated that I did something unique, and I'd say my impressions were on point. I also did a quick change at the end into a Candace outfit for her segment of my roast, and she was clearly gagged. I guess I'm on my way to being the #1 impersonator of the #1 Ashley Tisdale impersonator? Either way, I just know the win is mine tonight. Finally.
Josie Rizal, Mimi Tachikawa, and Oswald the Lucky Rabbit were great in the challenge.
I was the best by a mile. It's honestly almost unfair to the other queens. My only real competition was Kaito. I can't wait to win. I'll be the first queen with well, I've lost count of all my challenge wins. It's fine, one of my Dalitas watching at home can count for me on a particularly cunty abacus.
I expected to do well this week. What I didn't expect was that amazing performance from Kaito. He really impressed me. I think me, him, and Mimi are definitely the tops of the week, with Mimi being my biggest competition for the win. Josie was good too, I may be overlooking her. Either way, things will be close. Fingers crossed that I can join Josie in the 3 Wins Club?
Flower was good in the challenge.
It wasn't easy, but I managed to put a decent set together with help from the notes Oswald wrote about what I already had. I wonder how much time he must have spent on those. I don't get it. What reason did he have to help me? Well, whatever, it doesn't make me like him. That being said, I think he'll win this week, and I won't be as mad about it as usual. If there was any challenge for the ugly comedy queen to win, it's the roast.
Ritska and Skull Kid were bad in the challenge.
I was so confident going in, and my jokes were good at the start. But I blanked on some jokes midway through, and I just froze. And then SpongeBob shouted for me to tell a joke, and made that wacky SpongeBob laugh, and everyone laughed with him. I ended up just bowing out from embarrassment and sitting back down. It didn't help that Mimi absolutely turned it right after me, and her introduction line read me for filth. I definitely am in the bottom this week.
I know it's a roast, but holy fuck, Skull Kid was really mean to us, haha. Like, actual low blows, not roasting or reads. He was witty about the judges, and his jokes about Candace were great, but with us it felt really personal, especially towards Josie and Flower. I don't think that made him look very good. I mean, the spirit of a roast is comedy. That wasn't funny, it was just hurtful. He also didn't crack a single joke on Oswald, when he mentioned everyone else, which felt weird.
Flower slayed the runway.
I come onto the runway completely out of drag, with a prop vanity being carried on my body, covering everything but my makeupless face. And as I ever so slowly walk, I'm getting into quick drag with a hand mirror, right in front of the judges. At the end of the runway, I drop the vanity, closing the front of it, and just a few seconds later I walk out from behind it in a stunning prom outfit, with the polished mug I'm so well known for. Dragging up within a couple minutes, while walking down the runway, might be the craziest stunt I pulled yet. But I did it perfectly, like I do everything else, and the judges were actually cheering by the time I walked off the stage. Worship me, bitch.
Mimi Tachikawa was great on the runway.
When I turn the corner, I step out of my poolside heels, committing the cardinal sin of being barefoot on the runway. But girl, I made it work. I'm giving you Sharpay Evans in this bodysuit and caftan, serving tasteful body. And at the end of the runway, I pulled a cup of iced tea out from under my sun hat. And yes, it's a cup of iced tea imported from England, obviously. I look, what's the word? Fabulous.
Josie Rizal and Skull Kid were good on the runway. Ritsuka Uenoyama had a bad runway.
I'm in my Wildcats basketball uniform as I walk the runway, serving hot male body. My look is definitely simple, but it's sure as hell effective. After all, I've got the judges blushing. Zac Efron has nothing on me. I'm flashing my abs, the shorts are showing off the legs, and I feel sexy as hell. It may not be the most complex look of all time, but I did what I was planning on doing, and I'm sure the judges loved it.
Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and Kaito flopped the runway.
I'm walking down the runway in a Gabriella-inspired outfit, with my cute white sundress and a pink ribbon belted around my waist. I've decided to try again to do pretty drag, instead of my usual comedic take. I tried to remember Elise's advice from when she was still here, softened my features as best as I could, and toned my contour down. I feel pretty, and I absolutely love the way it turned out. It feels nice to feel pretty, haha. I hope the judges like it, even if it isn't very dramatic.
I'm giving you 2000s Disney fashion realness, with free tank tops, 2 jean jackets, free belts on various parts of my body, sparkly sneakers, dozens of accessories, and the tightest jeans I've ever worn. I really tried to capture the campiness of the popular look back then. I wouldn't call this my favorite look I've worn, okay, it's sorta a disaster. But I'm hoping the judges will appreciate my reference regardless, even if the look itself isn't up to snuff.
My queens, I have made some decisions. But first, Flower, you are safe. You may leave the stage.
Flower safe. Not even low? I find it suspicious that Flower, who spent almost all of her prep time screaming and storming off, managed to put together a good roast regardless. I'm starting to think someone interfered to help her. Maybe it was a member of production? Or maybe Mimi went out while we weren't paying attention? Whatever, there's more important things to deal with right now. I will be Nancy Drewing later.
Without further ado, let's get into critiques. Josie Rizal, please step forward.
You had a strong set, and a solid runway. I really did love you tonight. In the middle of the competition you stagnated, but these past few weeks you've shown that you can be and are a consistent threat, and the versatility you've continued to show is really impressive. I will say, I want to see more of that versatility on the runway. Your look was great, but cheerleader is definitely what I expected from Josie Rizal. I was satisfied, but you should be after more than that.
I definitely appreciate another queen who just says words. People might hear us talk and think we don't make any sense, but the girls who get it, and the girls who don't. You were totally irreverent in the challenge, and I lived for it almost as much as I lived for milk and cookies. Keep up the good work.
Mimi, please step forward.
Mimi, you clearly took that bottom placement last week personally, because you came out tonight guns blazing. I was rolling at your set. A girl like you doesn't seem like the type to read, but you were just the right level of vicious. I couldn't get enough. I take issue with you saying my wig looks like a foam hat originally used for a ginger poodle costume, but I'll have to suck it up, because it was hilarious. And on the runway, you looked almost as much like Ashley Tisdale as I do. Don't come for my title as her #1 impersonator, I'm begging you.
Most of the time I'd take issue with a queen coming out in a bodysuit and a caftan, but the styling was just immaculate. You were referencing probably the most iconic part of the films, but you added even more personality, and the camp of pulling the imported iced tea from your chest sent me almost as much as your roast did. You came out tonight ready to prove that your poor placement last week was not going to be a pattern, and you did that down. Now, Ritska, please step forward. Honestly Ritska, I was disappointed, because you started strong. And since you haven't been great with comedy, I was impressed. But the second you fumbled, you clearly got into your head. And the interjection from SpongeBob, I understand that would be embarrassing, but you could have played it off and bantered. Instead, you ran off the stage with your tail between your legs. It wasn't a good look. I was also really disappointed with your runway tonight. Ritska, you need to stop relying on that body. It succeeds in making me blush, but it doesn't succeed in covering a lack of effort on your look.
You can't trick me into thinking you did well by flashing your abs. That being said, very nice abs. But your set tonight, it was very dry, almost kind of like your vagina. A comedian should be able to shrug off a mistake, and even light heckling. Your audience should never be laughing at you, they should be laughing with you.
Oswald, please step forward.
You've set the bar for your comedy performances. We expect greatness from you in a challenge like this. And, like usual, you didn't let us down. You had especially good reads of the judges panel, which I appreciated. It's really easy to default to reading the other queens because, well, they don't have the check for 5 million pesos. But you didn't hold back on us.
Oswald, we've had this conversation before. The thing I appreciate about you most here is that you don't give up. You keep trying even at the things you aren't good at, and I want to give you all the praise I can for that. And you were beautiful, but this look tonight is not. At this point, we can't just let you get away with the looks you're showing. They aren't at the level that we expect for this point.
You have good bone structure under all of that, and like Rin said, the effort is there. But this whole ensemble just does nothing for you. I mean, it's an off-the-rack white sundress and a ribbon on your waist. It looks like something I'd see in a Macy's advertisement. And the makeup is better than your last attempt at a look like this, but it still isn't flattering at all. We want you to keep trying, but tonight, it was a failure. We know you can do better, and because we know you at this point, we also know you'll continue to try. And I can't wait to see that. Skull Kid, please step forward.
Take it from me, I won the roast challenge. That is not how you do a roast. Everything you said came off as mean, you weren't having fun, and neither were we watching you. They weren't reads, they were insults, and a lot of it seemed really personal to the other contestants. I didn't like it at all. Your runway tonight was solid, though.
I think you had my least favorite showing tonight, which is saying something, because Ritska didn't even finish his set. Nothing you said made me laugh, I just felt so icky about all of it. And if I was a queen competing this season, I would probably have trouble ever being around you, because I'd assume you'd weaponize my insecurities like that again. Those weren't jokes, Skull Kid. And with how amazing you are at banter and reading, I'm extremely disappointed. I had high expectations, and that was not good.
Watching you made me really uncomfortable. And you were opening the roast, it was your responsibility to set a warm, funny energy in the room. But after your set we were just left feeling off. And then Oswald came right after you and he completely outperformed you, not that it'd be difficult. The parts of your set focusing on the judging panel were pretty funny, but as soon as you started on the other queens, I was not having it. That, to me, was not befitting of the Philippines' next cartoon drag superstar. Kaito, please step forward. I love your impressions of all of us, they were so perfect, and that reveal into the Candace look at the end was so fun. But we need to address the elephant in the room here. You look like a mess on the runway tonight. It was almost like you forgot to pack something for this particular category, and just threw on as much vaguely 2000s clothes from what you did bring as you could. It's honestly a shame that I like the look you did your roast in significantly more than what you walked the runway in.
I was also really disappointed by your runway tonight, but you had the best roast by far, so I have a bit of trouble being too upset. I mean, I'm always one to prioritize a strong performance in the challenge over even the worst runways and, well, you weren't the worst look on the stage in my opinion. I'd still say you're my favorite of tonight.
You know what? I'll just say it. I loved your performance tonight, you were the clear best, and even factoring your look you might even still be the best. But Kaito, my eyes hurt looking at this. The presentation is terrible, that wig is dry, none of the pieces go together. Not to mention that I'd argue it doesn't even fit the prompt. This isn't High School Musical, it's more like Camp Rock. And you're in sneakers on my runway. This, to me, is a mortal sin. It's an atrocity. You can see Mimi on the stage next to you, and compare yourself. Is this the level of drag that we should be seeing at the top 7? Absolutely not. This is ugly. I'm being fierce because you're my family, and I have seen what you can do. This is trash.
Holy shit, that was fucking harsh. Kagamine Rin hasn't torn into someone like that since Danny Phantom. Girl, I don't think the fans on Twitter are gonna like this. But Lola will be proud.
I don't even know what to say right now. I wasn't very proud of my look, but the way I was critiqued. I thought this challenge would be mine to win, I did so well. But now I'm second guessing. I was called trash, right there on the runway, by my own sister of all people. It'd be easy to give up here and now. But I'm not doing that, I won't let up this late into the game. I slayed that challenge tonight, and if this keeps me from the win, I'll just have to get it next week. You won't see me falter from this.
My queens, now that we've let you know our thoughts, it's time to get into your placements. Josie Rizal, you channeled your inner milk and cookies, and your personality came through like always. Great job this week, you're safe. You may leave the stage.
Ah, damn it. I would have liked a third consecutive main challenge win. But I suppose they can't make my crowning too obvious, right? It's basically a charitable donation of a challenge win, to give hope to the other queens that they might surpass me. And I'm the queen of charity. In fact, I've just decided to Venmo Danny Phantom 5 pesos to help him fix his face. That's how charitable I am.
Oswald, your performance in the challenge tonight made it a night to remember, but your Gabriella runway made us want to walk away. You're safe, you may leave the stage.
It did sting a little, hearing that the judges hated my runway, because I really did feel beautiful tonight. But they loved my roast, and that's what really matters. Also, the High School Musical puns were worth it, haha.
Kaito, Mimi Tachikawa, you both turned it tonight. Especially one of you. Kaito, finally. You're safe. Great job tonight, you may leave the stage. Mimi Tachikawa, you are the winner of this week's challenge.
Yes, it feels nice to win again, it's been far too long for my liking. I'm glad that the rest of the queens got their moment, but Mimi is back again in full force.
That means that Skull Kid and Ritska, you're the bottoms of the week.
Skull Kid in the bottom, thank Christ. I've been looking forward to this. Oh my god, it's gonna be so entertaining to watch him rattle his bones up there like the ragdoll he is. Ritska, this is the one and only time I will root for you. Don't fuck this up.
I saw this coming after the critiques I got. And I won't say I'm not nervous. I may not like Ritska, but I'll give him that he's a bona fide lip sync assassin, and we saw what happened last time we went against each other. But if I'm gonna be in the bottom, I want it to be against the bitch on this fourth bottom. Don't write me off just yet.
So, here I am again, in the bottom too. I don't love it, but we've established time and time again that when the chips are down, I'm going to fucking perform. Skull Kid isn't a threat to me, sorry. It's time to get to stepping, Scarecrow.
Prior to tonight, I asked the both of you to prepare a lip sync to EVILBOYS by our very own Candace Flynn.
The time has come for you to lip sync for your life. Good luck, and don't fuck it up.
This lip sync, well, I'm certainly whelmed. I really want Ritska to take it, but he's clearly out of his depth to a song like this. And Skull Kid, he's giving me camp. I fear that of every bitch here, he's about to be the one to outperform Ritska. Gag.
Skull Kid had a good lip sync. Ritska had a bad lip sync.
My queens, I have made my decision. Skull Kid, Shantae, you stay. You may leave the stage.
Oh my god, he actually did it. I was so scared that I'd lose Skull Kid in that lip sync, but that crazy bitch pulled it off. I literally could cry, I'm so proud.
Ritska, you have an undeniable talent, and I'm so proud to call you one of my queens. Now, sashay, away.
Oh god, I don't have a funny one-liner prepared, I'll have to be genuine. Let me just say, Josie, I want to thank you for the friendship we've shared on this season. You've taught me to express parts of myself I didn't even know I had. Kaito and Mimi, you as well, the bonds we've made have meant so much to me. I can't wait to see you all soon, and one of you better fucking win this, haha. Good night, everybody.
The queens enter untucked room, with the lights mysteriously turned off. Suddenly, as the queens navigate towards the couch, the lights cut on, revealing 5 people in the untucked lounge. Josie, Mimi, and Kaito's eyes light up, while Oswald goes completely pale, tightly squeezing Skull Kid's arm.
Oh my god, no, it can't be him. What could he possibly? No, what the fuck is he doing here? Answer me, now.
Oh boy, looks like it's showtime once again. Get ready, Oswald, brother's home.